What's going on, everybody? It's Dave Drakes with the Collective Experience, and we are back ready for a new season of Supercross, SX 2021. And you know we had to do a cool pre-show. And of course, with me, I have one of my main buddies. You see me talking crap with him all the time, mostly talking crap on me. We got Brad Gebhardt, Big MX Radio. What's going on, Brad?
Hey, thanks for having me on the show once again, despite my lackluster performance the last time you had on the show and the verbal assault that I put upon you. But it's good to be back. Pleasure to jump on with you. And we've got a third member of the team joining us, Kyle Howe from all the way on the West Coast from Wise Zingers. Yeah, we just put this guy on the spot. I've talked to Kyle for maybe 10 minutes on the phone prior to this, and just basically threw him straight into the mix. We'll see how it goes. If he's terrible, we'll just completely drop him from the call. He'll be butthurt, but we'll move on and make it a better show from there. But of course, reality is we have Dave on the show, so it's never going to be that good.
Oh, come on, man! I bring a little bit of value. Come on, if not for my horrible race predictions, at least a little bit of humor, right?
Fair enough.
A little bit. Yeah.
Now, all right.
Do not listen to me on predictions at all. But yeah, whatever. Moving forward.
Boys, the race happens this Saturday. The season that we've been waiting for, the long overdue, the extended off season. We're used to already having a race under our belt at this point, with a couple weeks into January. But we don't yet. It's basically on the doorstep. We're about to pull the trigger on it. All the speculation, all the shit talking, it's about to go down, and we're going to get some answers to our questions this coming Saturday. I'm excited about it. I know you guys are excited about it. Before we get to that, Kyle, what the heck is Wise Zingers, and why does people need to be following that account on especially on Instagram if they happen to have a Yamaha two-stroke?
That's exactly what it's about. I'm a big fan of Yamahas. I grew up on them. I'm no hater to any other brands, but that's just what I grew up on. That's what I know. And you can do anything with those bikes. So if you're a big fan of it, follow it and just get inspiration for your build or whatever you want to do with it, and just have fun building a bike or looking at some sweet two-strokes.
Absolutely. And you have some really cool, you get fan submissions all the time. If someone wants their bikes featured, slide into Kyle's DMs. He usually gets it up sight on scene. Now, Dave, of course, the Collective Experience in the wake of COVID is not going to be what it's been in the past. There are hurdles in place that have not been there before, things that you're going to have to deal with. And that's ever changing. I think that it's something that it may start to open up more throughout the season if things change and you're a guy who can shift on the fly like that. But for right now, the loyal followers of the Collective Experience will be mostly reserved to experiencing it vicariously through you, who, unlike myself and Kyle, will be on the floor, ground zero in Houston this coming weekend. You got to be excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, anyone that's been part of the COVID pandemic issue, which is everybody, right? The whole planet. It's just going to feel great to get back to some sense of normalcy. And the best way to do it is getting back to Supercross. Everyone's, home away from home. So really looking forward to that. Yeah, the program's not going to be what it has been in past years. But I'm still excited that we're able to offer arena cross experiences, and looking forward to outdoors, and still, we're still committed to providing great content from every single race, as much as we can attend. And I'm excited for that, still just getting down there, showcasing how great these privateers and these Supercross athletes are, bringing some really good, fun content, and it's enjoying Supercross. That's what it's all about. And I'm really excited to get back to it.
Absolutely. And Kyle, obviously you're from not too far away from Hangtown. So Oakland was probably your home Supercross, one that you went to a number of times. First of all, how bummed are you that the state of California sucks so much that they won't even be coming back there this year? And maybe lay down one of your favorite Oakland Supercross memories for us if you can.
Yeah, I'm super bummed. Every single year, it's my job. I buy 20 tickets. I invite all my friends. We go tailgate. I've done it since I was 12.
You were tailgating when you were 12.
Super bummed about that. Pretty much, yeah. I've gone my whole life. Super bummed about that, but I'm glad Supercross is going. I'm glad it's not canceled or postponed. It's a change a little bit, but I think it's going to be a little exciting to see how it turns out. Favorite memory? There's a lot. There's quite a few opening Chad Reed ceremonies that I like just because I'm a big Chad Reed fan. But one that sticks out is seeing Billy Laninovich win San Francisco. I want to say like late 2000s. Like, he came out and he
2007, I think.
Ooh, that's a wild throwback.
Yeah. He was with Geico.
That one stuck out. He was with Geico. We were.
It was still the Sobe Samsung team at that time, actually. I think.
Yeah.
He was on the West Coast with I can't remember what season, like what year that was. I think that's the year Villapoto's in that year. I don't think Trey had turned pro yet.
I think
those were good teams.
Who was it? Preston or someone that year that him and someone went up into the finish line and he hit the rail on the side of the finish line post.
Oh, it was Villapoto and Trey Kennard.
Kennard, yep.
Oh, Kennard, not Preston. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
But
all good.
Yeah, that's memories.
When you got a moto nerd like me, you really got to be on your game as far as the facts. But I have no problem correcting people. Now, let's dive into this thing, boys. We don't know a lot about what's going to happen with the 250s. We can talk about some of the heavy hitters and who's going to kind of the who's who, if they're who's going to be the biggest contenders once we get to that part of the conversation. But that comes later. Right now, we need to sort of crack open and talk about a couple of the guys that, unfortunately, they're going to be on the bubble. Like we're going to be talking about some guys in the next little bit here who are absolute bad dudes and have made a lot of Supercross main events over the years. But the reality is this is probably the most stacked class we've ever seen rolling into the first round of Supercross. And privateers are going to have more stacked up against them than ever. On top of that, but let's just roll things right through. And he's not a privateer, but he's not on a factory supported team. It's the 83 machine. Start things off with the SGB Kawasaki. He needs a bounce back year. Alex Ray, he's a good friend of you, Dave. What do you expect from the 83 machine? He's the second year on the Kawasaki. He's gonna bring some speed. He looks like he's been training hard. But as much as I want to see him in the mains, like I'm literally looking at 30 dudes, a list of 30 guys right now that could easily be main event guys, and unfortunately, they only take 22.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough year for him, and I think he knows it. But like you said, it's his second year on the Cowie. He's had a chance to work out the bugs. We know of the uphill battle he had setting the bike up for outdoors last year. And you gotta know that the SGB team did him right, and they're addressing all those concerns and making sure that would never happen in Supercross, or at least they can mitigate them as much as possible. I'm looking forward to him having a solid season, man. He's a great rider, hard worker, and he's not afraid to get aggressive and twist the throttle. Yeah, he can be a little bit out of control sometimes, but you know the speed, the raw speed is there with A-Ray. I think he's gonna have a tougher time because, like you said, it's so stacked. But I think he's capable of doing more main events than I think people kind of have him pegged for. Yeah, like I said, it's gonna be tough for him, but I think he's a man for the job when it comes down to. He's got the grit. He's pretty decent starter. And man, when he's on a tear, like I would not want to be in front of that guy and be chased down. So expect to see him in some mains and really maybe open some eyes to some people that may have him as an underdog for not making names.
Absolutely, I like him as well. Kyle, what are some positives you can take away from what you see on the Alex Ray camp? What are some things you think are going to hold him back a little bit?
I gotta admit, I'm not too familiar with Alex Ray, but it's a new year. He's a new team, right? And I think he has a possibility to show what he's made of here, because it's not your normal year. Everything's different, and it's a chance to start something new.
Fair enough. And you know what, for me, a guy like Alex Ray, like when everybody else is in their own heads about how crazy this whole scenario is,
Yeah.
and having to race back to back to back, I don't want to besmirch the good name of Alex Ray, but he might be just enough of an airhead to sort of like not let that stuff bug him, because he just goes out there and races. He's a gamer. He really cares about his sport, and I think he's going to put in some solid rides. I think he's going to be up against, especially in the early parts of the season. I think I'm looking at a list of guys like just in every single main event this year you can think of that he didn't have to deal with last year. He's going to have to deal with Brandon Hartraff, Chase Sexton, Marvin Musquin, and Joey Savacci, and Max Anstey. That's 5 guys who, if you just pencil every single one of those guys as they are a tick above, that's a quarter of the field right there.
Yeah, that
he didn't have to deal with before, who he does have to deal with now. That's not going to be easy. And I think I'm missing same thing with Shane McElrath. Throw a 6th rider in there. As far as some rookies coming in who are slated to most likely take a spot ahead of Alex. So him and guys like Kyle Chisholm are going to be up against it as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if, honestly, he's on a good bike in the MCR Honda, but it's not going to be easy for Benny Bloss to make mains.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think all those guys kind of fall into that same realm of, those dudes are workhorses. All those guys that you listed, you never hear about those guys slacking, right? You always see them they're always at the gym on their Instagram. They're adhering to their program. They're on the track. They're eating right. All those guys are just they're ultra talented. They have great machine underneath them. They're workhorses. It's just a matter of, man, do you have what it takes to get that little extra 0.5% above the guy next to you? Because those guys are all relatively around the same speed, around the same finishing capabilities. It's just, man, do I have that extra little bit to get that jump on you on the gate, or to really dig deep and get around you in this corner, or whatever it is, to be able to solidify that spot? Because like you said, there's only so many to go around, and the top 12 to 14, those are all factory guys. So the guys on that bubble, it's going to be a brawl for who can fit in there and make it happen.
Fair enough. And like for you, Kyle, like looking at a situation of a guy like Justin Hill, who for all intents and purposes is probably he's a former champion in the 250 class. He has the most amount of talent of anybody that's not on a factory back machine, but he's going to be privateer efforted Mun Racing Husqvarna. He's on a different team for the first. He's on JGR for 2 years, but aside from that, he'd basically gone from team to team to team to team to team. He's gone from having amazing support to having less support, and now he's basically fully at the privateer level. But still, he's got that raw talent. Can we expect better than 12th spot from a guy like Hill, who's not going to have the machine that the other guys have, and he's not going to have the testing either?
12th spot, I don't know, but I know just from his personality, I feel like he's someone who he will come out and say, I don't have the best of the best, but I'm going to show you what I got, because he can throw down. He will throw down no matter what. So I feel like it's kind of like something where he can stand up and say, look at this, Yeah. So past 12, I think he can do it, but it's hard to say because there's a lot of good guys.
Oh, absolutely. We're just on factory guys alone, guys that are riding for OEMs. We're talking about 13 guys, and there's not a single one of those guys who remotely would consider a 13th spot to be anything that they would accept as a reasonable finish from round one. And unfortunately, that includes the likes of Malcolm Stewart, as well as Aaron Plessinger. Those are the guys that might be on the outside of the top 10 looking in. And Dave, that's going to be a tough pill to swallow for a lot of these guys. If you just lined up all of the OEMs from nuts to butts, if somehow like the top 7 was different OEMs, someone's got to get 7th. No, there's not a single one of those guys that's happy with a 7th.
Oh no, definitely not. The amount of effort and time and sacrifice and dedication and pouring blood, literal blood out there in the track. Nothing's good enough for these guys other than a win or maybe even a podium. There's some guys that's not that will they'll be pretty bummed at a podium even, but they're there to win. The pressure around them is there to win. They're paid the big bucks to win. So yeah, it's a definite bummer for one of those guys. And just imagine that pressure of knowing, like, no matter how hard I try, I can put all this effort in, there's still a little bit of a chance that this dude is going to come up and put me back a spot, and then the guy next to him put me back a spot, and then so on and so forth until I'm in that 7th, 8th spot. It's the unknown out there is just it's staggering. So I think those guys are under tremendous pressure, not only from themselves but their teams and all the obligations to their manufacturer to really give a great performance. So I know we say it every season. This is probably the most stacked, and this is the first time I'm actually hearing riders say, "Oh, look like they're concerned. Like, man, like there's a lot of talent on the gate. Like this is going to be the most stacked year if all the guys stay healthy, Brad. This is going to be an all-out just brawl from first all the way back to 22nd, because it's just flooded with talent. There's really not too much that we see anymore of, oh, this guy's a privateer from the local area that the stadium is at. He's got some.
You won't see any of that.
You won't see any of that. These guys, the guy in last place will be a freaking animal, like an Iron Man, just giving it his all day in, day out, just to get that spot. So I would never want to be put in the spot where these guys are, because it's crazy.
Fair enough. Well, last guy we're going to talk about before we start really kind of hammering down on some guaranteed top 10 riders is Martin Davalos in his second year on the Team Tedder KTM. It's a factory back motorcycle because they have the resources to purchase the motorcycle and all the resources to go along with it. Kyle, I ask you this: Martin Davalos, the number 36 machine, second full year on a 450. Does a step forward and be a consistent like that next best guy, that 11th, 12th place guy, or is ceiling even higher than that? Can he start to move into the top 10 more frequently than we've seen in the past? We've seen him lead laps. We've seen him ride in and around the podium as well. Last year's 450 Rookie of the Year.
That, like you said, Rookie of the Year. He's just getting started. But at the same time, like you said, we are more stacked than ever. He's gotten good, but everybody else has also gotten so good. So it's a matter of, are you ready to face all that? Can you match what Adam Cianciarulo, Barsha, and all these guys are doing? So it's super hard to say. Yeah, I don't know.
Fair enough. Dave, what do you think? Like I swear, this year of all years, and he's a guy that gets good starts at the beginning of the season. Like, you're talking about, like, you're like, who's gonna lead laps, this, that, and another thing, and then all of a sudden you got like Vince Freeze and Martin Davalos are going to be in the top 5 on lap 1 of Houston this weekend, and it's going to blow everybody's wigs back. Like, where do these guys fit in? And then, and do they get shuffled back?
I'm glad you brought up Davalos. I think the guy's a stud, man. I saw a few videos of him at MTF just putting the laps down. And when I say that this dude had insane corner speed, it's an understatement. He was absolutely hauling the mail. And I know MTF is his, like, his home track and stuff like that. But to see a guy muscle around a 450 like that, it was pretty impressive. So I have Davalos picked as one of my sleeper guys. Him and Freezy both. Yeah, we keep saying it. Everything's super stacked. Yeah, there are riders that have maybe a little bit more in terms of consistent top finishes, top 10s, top 7s, top 5s. But those guys are super solid. Like you said, Brad, they're typically really good starters. Freezy even more so. And they can run in the top 5 for quite a while. It takes quite a bit to get around those guys. I would say look for Davalos to have those sneaky races where you're like, you're so busy watching first through third battle and do these insane stuff. you'll probably see Davlos sneak in there for a 7th or maybe even like a 6th or an 8th, or that guy is going to have some sneaky rides, and then you're going to see him at the front of the track a lot, early on in the race, like you said. So I have a lot of faith in Davlos. I have a lot of faith in Freezy. Freezy's a super tenured guy. He's on a bike that is, they're going to be working some of the bugs out. He'll be on the 21 while the rest of his team is on the 20. But I think he's seasoned enough to where he'll gel with the bike really early. And Davlos is pretty much on a very similar setup to last year. So I don't see either guy having a very treacherous time out there in the track. I think it's going to be pretty solid for both of them, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Absolutely love it.
All right, guys, that's our dig into the Supercross season from the privateer side. Now, if we didn't mention your in particular privateer that you want to hear about, leave us a comment below.
It's Kyle's fault.
It's Brad's fault. Let us know what you guys think in terms of how we place these privateers. Do you think we're kind of off a rocker? Or are we kind of on the ballpark of what you're thinking? Let us know. Be sure to check out the other videos in this series. We're going to be talking about the top 3 guys, the top 5 guys, and so on. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. Check out what Zinger, Kyle Howard's going on with Instagram. Check out my boy Brad Gebhart with Big MX Radio, and of course, stay tuned to the Collective Experience. Thanks for watching.